Hospital Health Advocate, and this video right here is about giving birth naturally. While the hospital, at all costs, you should try your best to avoid. If you necessarily have to go to the hospital, go to the hospital. And I'm not talking to people who have any type of serious health condition. Go to the hospital to deliver your baby, because if you're not in your tip-top healthiest point, then you can have complications, and I don't want you to believe that you can just have the baby at home and nothing's gonna go wrong. So I'm not talking to you if you're highly overweight, have any type of pregnancy problems already, or is not in your best healthiest state you could be in, basically. So with that being said, let's go into it. 2.5 years ago approximately, I gave birth to my own daughter by myself in the comfort of my own home. Basically, the uterus, the way the uterus is positioned when you lie on your back, that is the worst position you can ever be in the world. The way the uterus is positioned, you are supposed to be squatting for the baby to just flop out. So what happens is, I was at home, I started getting a few contractions, they were mild. I took a little bath, well, not with soap and water. I soaked in the tub. It was a warm bath for maybe about 30 minutes. I say for the next 2.5 hours, I were in and out of contractions, excuse me. I didn't have an epidural. I didn't have any pain medicine, because nothing is supposed to touch your spine. Nothing. So when you let the doctor take this huge needle, and of course you have to sign the waiver first, because you can become paralyzed. Some people have nerve damage. The doctor's just messing y'all up. That's their job. That's what they do. So of course it doesn't change when you're pregnant. So I didn't have any epidural, any pain medicine. For the next 2.5 hours, contractions, blah blah blah. So I felt the crown of her head coming at the tip of my vagina, and that's when I knew to push. And I'm saying this because a lot of women are like, I can't do it by myself. I don't know how to do this. It's natural, honey. It's a natural instinct that you're going to have, because if you didn't know how to give birth naturally, you would not be able to become pregnant. There were not hospitals years and years ago. This is how your grandmother, her mother, this is how they did it. Okay, they had midwives, of course, and you can definitely have a midwife. I did not get a midwife because I wanted to make sure that 1,000% it went my way. I didn't want anyone pressuring me. I didn't want anyone giving me the feeling that they wasn't supporting 100% the decision that I wanted to make in having her. I didn't want anything used but a natural process. Now, mind you, I was already vegan. I was already alkaline, so I was 1,000% healthy. I worked out every single day of my pregnancy until I had her. So with that being said, let me continue. I felt that it was time to push, but then I started going. So as I'm doing my number 2, I'm Googling if that's okay. Which, ladies, do what you have to do. Give birth to that baby. If you got to Google, or have your husband Google, or whoever your support system is, if something goes wrong where you don't feel like you know what's going on, Google it. And I'm not saying Google has all the answers, so you pick out what you need to. But of course, if I'm going to Google, is it normal to poo? Why, before you're giving birth? I mean, I think that's simple enough to trust. So with that being said, they said it was okay. It's just making room for the baby to come out. I wasn't panicking. The pain, I mean, there's no pain like that on earth. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say, oh, it was a breeze. No. But that's a part of being a woman. What is there in the world that we can't handle? To be honest. Come on now. So after I dropped my last little droplets, then I knew that it was over, because I felt that pressure on my vagina like, okay, homegirl, it's time to push. So I pushed approximately, twice? And there she was in my arms. And I mean, all of that pain in the world that you experience, the moment that you touch that new life and you hold it, instantly you forget. You forget that you had just felt like a building had fell on you. You forget that. And in that moment, it's over. You have life in front of you, and every single thing that you went through didn't even matter. Like, how beautiful is that? Women, understand who you are. Understand who you are, okay? You are the only person in the world that can do that. Just understand who you are. And I'm not saying you better than men, and I don't want men to get offended and I do believe that the unit is what it needs to be to flourish. You need the man, women, okay? I am not for that independent woman. No. The unit needs to be that unit. They are here for a reason. But understand who you are. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, I had some nice classical music in the background. I had the lights dim because the baby is sitting in darkness for 9 to 10 minutes. Can you imagine when you wake up in the morning and somebody click on the lights and you were in darkness, you're kind of shocked. So you're supposed to bring the baby from darkness to darkness. Not the way they pull a baby out of your vagina in the hospital, put it under a freaking, is that a heat lamp? I'm not even sure what type of lamp that is. Traumatize the baby, shock the baby, and then they begin to scrub the little gooey stuff that you see on the baby. That is actually for you to rub into the baby's skin and protect the baby from this world onto the next. Well, this world onto this world. So everything in the hospital that they do is horrifying. So I brought her from darkness to darkness. I rubbed it into her skin and I began to breastfeed her. She didn't eat, but she latched on and we sat there. Another thing, do not sever the umbilical cord. That is a huge no. The umbilical cord needs to stay attached until it falls off naturally. There are vital minerals and nutrients and blood and all type of information that has to still pump to that child until it begins to fall off on its own. So what I did was I pushed out the placenta maybe about, I'd say maybe 5 minutes after I had given birth to her. I felt it. Ladies, they be like, how do you know when to push? How do you know? The doctor is not your guide, okay? You are holding the baby. You're gonna know. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna come as if it's second instinct. They have animals that give birth every day by themselves. What school they went to? What doctor told them how to do it? No doctor, okay? So naturally, you're above the animal. You know what to do. I felt that pressure of the placenta coming, so I pushed one time. Woohoo, there it was. What I did next, I took the placenta, I placed it into a cloth bag. I put salt on it to help it dehydrate. I put herbs on it to help the smell. I walked around with that baby for 3 days with that placenta in the bag, and it fell off in 3 days on its own. To never cut that umbilical cord, ever. That is the worst thing you can do. And if you want more information, it's called the lotus birth. There won't be tons of information on the internet because, of course, that's just the way it is. They won't give you that type of information in bulks. So do your research, be wise, meditate on everything, okay? I don't want nobody to say like, oh, we can't believe everything she's saying. Don't. Go look it up for yourself. Go do the research yourself. And no, Google doesn't have all the correct answers. They will keep you which way. You're not going to know what to do. That's why you have to research. And when I say research, I mean extensively go into it and know thyself. When you know who you are, you can meditate and say, this is right, this is wrong. You're going to know. You have to meditate. I will be doing a video of the importance of meditating. That is so serious, people. That's when you find out who you are. When you begin to meditate, you go into yourself and you become the soul. You find out who you are. If all day you're talking on your phone, watching TV, when do you ever have a thought? When do you ever have your own thoughts? If thoughts are constantly being played into your mind, the TV is feeding you thoughts. Your phone is feeding you thoughts. Your conversation with somebody, when do you take a moment to think and actually create a thought for you? And when you begin to do that, you will understand that all the answers that you seek is not in the sky, but in here. But you've never taken that time to go inside to find the answers. You're always seeking something. Everybody is always trying to find a temporary high. Oh, let me smoke weed just to get by, or let me smoke alcohol, or now to work